was recently, I was in Delhi before I came to Chennai, and I was told that the people from Chennai like to talk and they like to eat. So I promise I won't go on for too long, filling up with these delicious smells wafting across us. I was asked by Anthony to speak today on my take on the moral, legal and financial reasons for health and safety. And I'm also going to try to apply that to some cases where that argument has shone through, and also talk a little bit about safety leadership. Just a few slides to begin with, just on Nebosh. I know there's a few International General Certificate candidates with us this evening, and welcome. The Nebosh was formed in 1979. In real terms, we've just celebrated our 30th year, so we're very well established now. We're an examination board and an awarding body, so that means that we can produce syllabi and produce examinations. We're a registered charity. All the money we make, or the surplus we make, goes back into producing additional qualifications or improving the ones that we already have. And our charitable purpose is for the greater good. That's our charitable purpose, for the greater good. And we're regulated in the UK by the Office of Qualifications and the Scottish Qualifications Authority. And we're also regulated in other countries such as Trinidad and Tobago, and we welcome regulation from India as well. We enjoy being regulated. It gives you discipline, just as your British standards or 18,001 gives you a discipline, so does being regulated by the government, of course. So we offer a full suite of professional qualifications, from award through to certificate through to diploma. We're recognised by various professional institutes, IOSH, IIRSM, and the Institution of Environmental Management and Assessment, and we're also indirectly recognised by other professional bodies as well. We have 30,000 candidates annually, both in the UK and internationally, of course, which equates to about 90,000 different types of assessment, all that need to be marked. We have actually nearer 430 providers in 80 countries. Now, all the providers we have, obviously NIST being one of them, have to go through a robust accreditation system. We only work with people who we know will produce a quality course and a quality experience for Nebosh students, and indeed the course provider students as well. We're very lucky in that we only need to work with the people we want to work with. And I'm very pleased to say I had a very constructive today with Anthony and his colleagues, and they've got a very, very good programme of Nebosh Awards here. And hopefully they'll continue to go from strength to strength. And of course our qualifications are internationally recognised. The Middle East, we're very active. India more so. We have 12, 13 providers now in India. Very important market for us. Trinidad and Tobago, China, those sorts of places. As I say, we offer awards, which is the entry-level type qualification, for the certificates for those people who are actively involved in health and safety, and then the diploma for those people who really want to progress their careers further up to practitioner level. So the presentation, jump on forward. The moral reasons, as I see it, for health and safety are the moral reasons for protecting our workforce, protecting the people who may be affected by our work activities, should be the prime motivator. Yes, of course, we have legislation, because reality is, our moral reasons for health and safety, it isn't the prime motivator. We do it because the law generally tells us to. I believe there's an importance of maintaining a moral code and ensuring that, yes, when people finish working for us at the end of the day, they may go home more tired, more weary, and that's fine. But we expect them to go home with all their fingers, their toes, their arms, their legs. We also talk about health and safety, but I think we actually talk about safety. I think health gets considered less in the workplace. And I think, we've spoken about silicosis, asbestosis, asbestos generally, all these harmful properties and chemicals that our workers, our colleagues come into contact with. And they may not be affected during their working life. They finish work, they're in retirement, and they have an early demise as a direct result of their work activities. Now that can't be right, that can't be appropriate. We need to have engineering controls, we need to have physical controls, we need to have training in place to protect both the health and the safety of our people. And of course we have a duty of reasonable care. We have a duty to provide a safe place of work, competent fellow employees. We have a duty to do that. And a moral duty to protect others. You know, in India you had the horrendous Bhopal incident. I think people may live around the outskirts of a factory. They don't really consider what's going on inside it. They assume that it's being managed competently and appropriately and safely. Bhopal resulted in 5,000 deaths, 200,000 serious accidents, and they're just the statistics that we know of. It may be far more. So we very much have a moral duty to protect others, both safety, health, and environmentally, of course. More so now. I don't know how many of you, your role is safety, health, and environmental. Fairly common approach now, yeah? In the UK, it tends to be quality gets added on as well. You know, they keep spreading us more thinly and thinly, don't they? So the legal reasons, in an ideal world, organisations would self-regulate. Now, again, that doesn't happen. Your job's quite safe for a long time, yes. But some companies choose to produce a management system which is really robust. It requires far more than the local legal environment requires. And that's fantastic. But there are lots of other people who are failing to make the legal requirements. And let's face it, the legal requirement is the minimum standard, and that minimum standard sometimes isn't met, as I'm sure you're aware. There's also the punitive damages. So the actual, if you harm somebody in the workplace, if you have an accident in the workplace, obviously there's damages which the government, which a regulator may come and claim from you. So there's a very real business reason for ensuring legal compliance. As is when somebody gets injured, they may sue. They want money to cover their loss of earnings, their injury, their death. Now, financial reasons, you know, the way to sell health and safety, of course, is to sell the business benefit. Now, I will mention a few times in this presentation that if you improve the health and safety within the workplace, you will improve the quality of the products that you're producing. You will be more product-wise. You know, your productivity will improve. There will be so many business benefits in improving health and safety that are actually tangible. You can see them, and that's what we need to sell as a profession. Now, there are insured costs and uninsured losses as well, and they are direct and indirect. Now, it's okay, you can insure against damage to buildings, damage to vehicles. You can't insure against sick pay, repairs to plant and equipment, product loss or damage, legal cost fines. You can't insure against that. Indirectly, you can't insure against the loss of goodwill, employee morale. You know, we want to be able to select the people who come and work for us, and people are going to be more attracted to come and work for an organisation, if they know that they will be valued within that company. Yeah? So you're going to be able to attract good people to come and work for you if they know they will be valued, their welfare will be taken care of. If your morale's low, these people aren't going to work very hard for you. You know, your productivity will drop, your quality will drop. There will be a loss of corporate image. Now, I'm going to mention a few different cases now, but are you familiar with Exxon? Exxon, huge hydrocarbon company. Now, in the UK, in Scandinavia, in Alaska, certainly, in parts of North America, if you mention Exxon, everyone immediately will think Exxon Valdez. Have you heard of Exxon Valdez? It was a tanker which spilled, I think, 10 million gallons of oil in and around Alaska. There was numerous failings as to why the tanker ran aground based on management system failings and poor leadership. That company reputation is ruined. Now, Exxon actually have a fantastic health and safety management system. They strive to provide a safe place of work and good environmental controls for their employees. That caused, I think it was 11,000 square miles of pollution that disaster resulted in. It cost $2 billion to clean up. $2 billion. That was all borne by that company. It's bad business not to manage your health and safety risks and your moral, legal, and financial obligations. Recently there was a Deepwater Horizon disaster in Mexico as well. BP share price halved. Their chief executive lost their job. People keep considering the financial implications of that, but people were also killed in that accident. But shareholder value obviously diminishes, but also investor confidence diminishes. So people won't want to invest in your organisation if they feel that you have a poor health and safety record, poor health and safety and environmental record. More and now, people are investing ethically as well. Yeah, investing ethically. This damage to reputation is a really compelling business argument. Piper Alpha is a very famous accident as well, certainly in the UK. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. There was a great many deaths when there was a fire on an oil refinery in the North Sea. I forget how many died. I think there's about 89 men died as a result of the fire. Many other families obviously torn apart by the accident. But no amount of detailed regulation, no amount of law could make up for the deficiencies that were in that organisation. There was failings at all levels. People were not empowered to make decisions. Quality process and how much money they could make was at the forefront of everybody's minds. Safety was around, it was considered, but in no great detail. There were so many management failings. Now, one good thing that came out of Piper Alpha is that there have been so many case studies on it. People have learned from it. There's a famous quote that says, organisations have short memories. And I think organisations do have short memories. I think we have long memories, but organisations have short memories. They don't always learn from the mistakes, as we'll see from BP in a moment. But there's another famous quote which says, other people have learned the lessons, so we don't have to. Other people have learned the lessons, so we don't have to. So look at what's gone before and learn from it and apply it in your own workplace as part of your professional growth. Herald Free Enterprise was another disaster. It was a ferry which went from England to France. There was an accident. Again, poor management system failing, lack of leadership, lack of control, very little thought to how their activities impacted on other people. 197 deaths as a result of this accident. When they was investigated by the UK regulators, they could find nobody in the business who would take responsibility for health and safety. So they have large risks. Their hazard profile within their organisation is enormous. Now, Grangemouth is in Aberdeen, near Aberdeen in Scotland, very north of Great Britain. In May and June, there were 3 major accidents, serious major accidents. Thankfully, there was no fatalities within there. Now, the standards have been allowed to slip and did not detect and intervene early enough on deterring performance. So the company wasn't doing continuous improvement, it wasn't doing auditing, it wasn't doing enough inspections, it never had enough competent people to realise when standards were slipping. Now this goes back to what I was saying about organisers having short memories, because in Texas City, 7 years later, the accident which resulted in 15 fatalities could have been completely avoided because they prevented if the lessons have been learned. Now again, BP's reputation is dragged through the mire again. People will remember these accidents, their moral, legal and financial obligations. Legally, they were prosecuted. Financially, huge fines, huge civil claims, lots of plant, lots of equipment, a disaster for any organisation. But again, a lack of leadership from the Chief Executive Officer, a lack of leadership throughout all of these actions. Good health and safety management. So of course we'll have reduced costs, reduced risks. Our risk and our hazard profile will be diminished. We will have lower employee absence.